Hello, beautiful people. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to your first astrological forecast for 2024. This one will be mostly talking about the upcoming lunation, our first lunation for 2024, which is the new moon in Capricorn, the first one of the two we're going to have in 2024. And as always, I'm going to start with naming the main aspects that will be taking place in the upcoming week, and then we dive into the new moon in Capricorn. So today, Saturday, as I'm recording this, we have Sun square to Chiron, and Moon is in the sign of Scorpio. Moon moved into the sign of Scorpion yesterday, and tomorrow Moon will move into the sign of Sagittarius. So it's interesting to notice how we had Christmas with Moon in the sign of Gemini, New Year with Moon in the sign of Moon in the sign of Virgo, and now we start in the second week of 2024 with Moon in the sign of Sagittarius, which is telling us about this need for flexibility. There is all this mutable energy that is taking us in this new direction. Then Monday, we start a week with, of course, Moon in the sign of Sagittarius, but also Mercury making its third and last square to Neptune. And we already had two of those. The first one was at the full moon in Gemini, which was on 27th of November. Then, as we know, Mercury was retrograde in December. So we had the square between Mercury and Neptune number 2 right after the full moon in Cancer on December 27th. And now we have the third one. And I'm sure that by this stage, Mercury has a lot of new information to challenge us on with regards to Neptune that we might have to let go of, because it had its retrograde. It's gone from Capricorn back to Sagittarius, and now it's still in Sagittarius, but it's going to go back into the Capricorn. So square number 3. On Tuesday, we have Sun in Capricorn making a trine to Uranus. Uranus still is retrograde until the end of this month. Moon also will move into the sign of Capricorn on Tuesday, and Mars, now in Capricorn, will make a sextile to Saturn, and Saturn is actually the ruler of Mars at the moment, because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, is the ruler of the upcoming lunation. So then on Wednesday, we'll have Sun making a square to the nodes. So Sun will become a skip step, and this is actually going to be the new moon making a square to the nodes the day later. So this is happening at 20 degrees 18 minutes on Wednesday. Then on Thursday morning, we have the new moon in Capricorn. And later on the same day, we have Venus making a trine to Chiron. Venus is in Sagittarius. On Thursday, Moon will move into the sign of Aquarius. And then on Friday, we'll have Mars in Capricorn making a trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is in Taurus. Direct now as of December 30th. And on the same day, Juno will actually station retrograde in Virgo. Then on Saturday, we have Mercury re-entering Capricorn, because, as I mentioned, Mercury was retrograde and it re-entered back into the sign of Sagittarius, and now Mercury will make its second attempt to go into Capricorn and stay there, which it will. And that will be taking place on Saturday, and Moon will move into the sign of Pisces on Saturday. On Sunday, we'll have Venus making a trine to North Node in Aries. And then on Monday, we will start the new week, the next week, with Sun making a sextile to Neptune. And right after that, Moon will move into the sign of Aries, because, as we know, we're going to end this week, the week coming, and start the week after that, week of the 15th of January, with Moon in the sign of Pisces. So here we go. So there is a lot happening. So as I said in my last video, which was the closing video, closing astrological forecast for 2023, this first week of January was fairly quiet. There was very little going on. I feel personally that there was this opportunity for recalibration and getting adjusted to these new energies of 2024, the year number 8, because it's going to get fast from now on, especially as we know that Pluto is going to move into Aquarius on the 20th, right after its conjunction with Sun, which is what I'm going to be talking about next time. However, things are going to start speeding up. As we know, there is already a lot happening this week. All this is present for the new moon in Capricorn. And I don't know how about for everybody else, and this is something I'm going to be talking about in my personal astrology, practical application of astrology, personal story share, which I will probably record tomorrow. But this week, even though we are like, today is the 6th of January, it feels like it's been so long. It's been like, I can't believe we only just had New Year, like 6 days ago, because it feels like this week already has been like it's gone fast, but it feels like there's been much more gap between the beginning of this year and where we are now. It feels like a few months later already. So it's very interesting that actually astrologically the energy was quite subtle. There was not much going on. Of course, Mars changed the sign, Mars moved into the sign of Capricorn, but apart from that, there was not that much going on, like exact aspects and stuff, which of course is changing as of now, as of this week. But it's just been really interesting. I don't know. It's just been very interesting. That's a side note. That's, like I said, it's something that I'm going to dive deeper in my practical application of astrology. But let's talk about this new moon in Capricorn. So one thing that I already mentioned, but I want to mention again because it's super important. Sorry, I'm just getting it on my phone, so I have it ready. So the new moon in Capricorn, we have two of those. So we are starting this year, 2024, first lunation of 2024, new moon in Capricorn, which will take place on the 11th, January 11th. We have all these master number frequencies again, 11 of the first. And for me here in Mexico, it will be at 5:57 a.m. So it depends where you are, which time zone. For you guys in Europe, it's going to be already afternoon. For people in Australia, I think it will be like late evening. But yeah, for me here, it will be early morning on the 11th. And the new moon in Capricorn will take place on 20 degrees 44 minutes. Which actually comes to a number 10, which is the ultimate endings and new beginnings. And this is what I really want to talk about, because this new moon to me is very paradoxical, that even though it is a new moon, it represents an end. So anyway, I want to dive deep into that, but before I get there, I just wanted to say that, as I mentioned previously, we will also end 2024 with new moon in Capricorn. That will be the last lunation for 2024, and this one will be happening, the one at the end of the year. It will happen at 9 degrees 43 minutes, which is the early degree of Capricorn. So actually, interestingly enough, the 9 degree is still within the Capricorn decan, right? But the 20 degrees 44 minutes is actually a Virgo decan, because we have a Capricorn, then is Taurus, then is Virgo. So it's interesting that it's a very different energy. That will be a real new moon in Capricorn with Capricornian flavor, where this one is like things are changing. So it's a seeding of a change technically. And also I need to say that we're going to have also two full moons in Capricorn, and the first one will be on 1 degree and the second one on 29 degrees, and this will be in summer. Of course, it will be actually on June 22nd and July 21st. So this is something which I think is very important to pay attention to because of the energy of this new moon. So as I said already, to me this new moon is very paradoxical, because normally when we're talking about new moon, we're talking about seeding of a new energy, and it is a new energy for sure, but this energy actually represents ending. It represents a change because of everything that's going on in the sky. We have all these culminations, as we know. We have just about to have Sun in conjunction with Pluto, and actually Pluto is conjunct in this new moon. Pluto is in a new phase conjunction to this new moon on a 29 degrees of Capricorn. 29 degrees is the analytic degrees, is the end of the cycle. Each sign, zodiacal sign, has 30 degrees. 29 degrees is the end. It's like the Neptune flavor, because there is a totality of understanding what that represents. And we know that Pluto has been dancing on a 29 degrees few times already, because it already was in Aquarius in March, from the March 2023 until June, and then it gone back into Capricorn, and now it's just about to exit Capricorn again, and it will have one more retrograde into Capricorn. So there are multiple times Pluto is touching this 29 degrees. So as I mentioned, Pluto is actually conjuncting this new moon in Capricorn. It's in a new phase to the new moon, but it's on 29 degrees. So again, we can see the paradox. There is these endings. Pluto is ending its transit of Capricorn since 2008. There is one more retrograde only for 2.5 months, which is like predominantly Pluto is in Aquarius most of this year, 9.5 months. But it's a new moon, so it's a seeding of a new energy. But like I said, it's on a late degrees, 20 degrees 44 minutes, which is a Virgo decan. It's all about learning, adjusting, and making a change. So the other things that's taking place is this influence of the Mercury square to Neptune. So Mercury, as I mentioned, Mercury actually entered Capricorn for the first time on December 1st, which is again a paradox. first day of the last month of 2023. So Mercury entered Capricorn, and this is the thing. I feel, well, apart from the fact that it's the year number 8, which is ruled by Saturn and Jupiter. Let's not forget the Jupiter quality. It's all about Saturnian, Capricornian energy, which is about becoming your own authority, like taking a charge of your life, right? And that's why I feel that this new moon in Capricorn, which is paradoxical, from my standpoint anyway, my way of understanding and tapping into this energy, that's exactly what it represents. Is the end, is the beginning of the end. This is going to be a very, very impactful year. It's going to be a very potent year. It's going to definitely bring a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of adjustments that will start taking place. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. But this chart is so interesting because, so as I started saying, there is this influence of the Mercury square to Neptune. Mercury started its retrograde in Capricorn, then as we know, it returned back into the sign of Sagittarius over the Christmas time, squared Neptune again. So there was, as Neptune is in Pisces, everything that was squaring Neptune from the Sagittarius sign was telling us about the stories that are ending, the perception of reality that's ending. Last new moon of 2023 was the new moon in Sagittarius. There was a seeding of a new story, a new direction, a direction of expansion. Like I say, there's no coincidence why we have all this, beginning of the weeks, but also, Christmas, New Year, endings, beginnings in immutable signs. Moon was in immutable signs. So moon was in immutable signs. That's why I'm like saying it was in immutable signs. And like I said, we're going to start the week with moon in the sign of Sagittarius this week. So yeah, there is all this mutable energy. So anyway, going back to this Mercury square to Neptune, during this retrograde, Mercury gone back from Capricorn to Sagittarius, so it was redefining, reevaluating, going back over things. Obviously, it did make a conjunction with Sun before Mercury went back into the sign of before the event into the sign of Sagittarius, and it made a conjunction to Mars in the sign of Sagittarius when Mercury was retrograde. Now, Mercury is going to make another conjunction to Mars this month, and that's going to be in a sign of Capricorn. That's going to be on 17 degrees, 18 minutes of Capricorn. It's going to take place on the 27th of January, which is after full moon in Leo. We will be already in the in the Aquarius season. So what are we breaking free from? What are we liberating ourselves free from? Is the old stories, it's the old pattern, it's the old perception of reality, the lens through which we perceived reality before, the belief system we were attached to, and we thought there is no other way. But now we have moon in all these mutable signs, like being very obvious, and saying that there is a different way, there is a different choice. Mercury is now this week re-entering Capricorn on the 13th, on Saturday, after the new moon. Mercury will re-enter Capricorn during the new moon. Mercury is still in the sign of Sagittarius, but it's closing to Mars again because they're going to have another conjunction. Mars is how Pluto acts consciously. It makes things conscious. It points this arrow in a certain direction, and at the moment Mars is in Capricorn, which is saying you need to become your own authority because you create in your life. And as I mentioned in my previous video, Mars in Capricorn is in its exaltation. To me, Mars in Capricorn, as I keep saying over and over, is the emperor quality, is the maturation, is that I can take responsibility because I know what I'm doing, is the experience, right? So having this new moon in Capricorn on a light degrees, it's saying, well, is this how everybody feels? Because we see in this new energy, which is telling us about there is something that is adjusting, something that needs to end. And then we have all these culminations, right? We have, Sun is going to conjunct Pluto, which is going to end the cycle, but then it's going to put Pluto behind the Sun, which will be a closing phase, because this is what happens with the Sun. And that conjunction is going to take place on the 20th of January, right before Sun moves into the sign of Aquarius, and Pluto will move into the sign of Aquarius the same day on 29 degrees 59 minutes. Again, we have Capricorn, the structure, last degrees, late degrees, end of the structure. This is a new moon in Capricorn, but it's not seeding the new earth yet. It's like there is a conception of, yes, the world is changing and is being created, but first we need to end something, you know, because there is still this last retrograde of Pluto into Capricorn at the fall for the eclipse season. Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for the eclipses. So anyway, so like I mentioned, we have this upcoming conjunction number 2 between Mercury and Mars. So they play a role. And also Mercury, as I mentioned, is still squaring Neptune for this lunation. So what do we need to release with regards to how we identify reality, how we see the world? And it was in the sign of Sagittarius, still is in the sign of Sagittarius until after. So how do we identify reality based on this lens? Based on this old belief system, which now becoming outdated, it needs to be released. It's the last quarter square, the crisis in consciousness. We need to let it go, because in order for this new Capricorn energy, and Saturn as the ruler is in a sign of Pisces, and Mars is making the sextile. As I mentioned, the exact sextile between Mars and Saturn is taking place on Tuesday, so just before the new moon, 2 days before. So Mars is supportive to Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Mars, and there is going to be a conjunction between the two in April, right after the solar eclipse in Aries. There is no coincidence. We have a Mars-Saturn conjunction on April 10th, right after the solar eclipse new moon in Aries, ruled by Mars. And now Mars is sextiling Saturn and is ruled by Saturn. So we can see how these two are really important to pay attention to, and also because Mars is the ruler of the North Node, the evolutionary potential in Aries, and Saturn is the ruler of Pluto. Still, for this lunation, Saturn is the ruler of Pluto, because Pluto is still in Capricorn on 29 degrees. Endings, new beginnings. What are we seeding? We are seeding the new approach towards life, where we take responsibility, where we decide that, yes, I'm the creator, and I am emotionally mature to do what I feel is the right thing. Mars in Capricorn is the emperor. So yeah, like I mentioned, the other things that are taking place, the Sun is making a trine to Uranus that's going to become exact the day before, right? Or 2 days before on Tuesday. Sun is making a trine to Uranus. So Uranus is trining this new moon. So this is the first trine, you know, the vaccine gibbous, right? So this is supporting us. It's still in that stage, which is not a full moon, so we don't know the whole, like, how it's gonna look like, you know, like we don't know what we're doing. But this is the thing, is this like where it's so difficult now to put things in a linear way, because there are so many things happening simultaneously. And I'm noticing this when I'm doing readings for my clients. It's very hard for me, very challenging to put things in a linear way, because there are so many things happening simultaneously, which are on different multidimensional levels. So we have a new moon in Capricorn, which is saying a cycle is ending, new cycle is beginning. New moon, right? It's a conception in Capricorn. But we're going to have 2 new moons in Capricorn and 2 full moons in Capricorn at the early and late stages, which is saying there are all these things happening simultaneously. Yes, there is the seeding, there is a conception of this new paradigm of how we create in reality, who is in charge, you know, which is you. It's always been you. We just gave our power away because we didn't know any better because of the conditioning. However, alongside with seeding this new, we end in the old, and the old is still here. The old is still there. Like, there is, the new hasn't manifested yet to replace the old. It's all happening at the same time, simultaneously. So that's what I mean. This year 8, this year that's got this Saturnian flavor, the number 8 represents Saturn. We have 4 lunation in Capricorn. I mean, I don't know, obviously, when this happened before, like when there was 2 new moons and full moons in Capricorn last time. I don't have that information. I didn't go digging that deep into the rabbit hole. However, this is very important. This is very impactful, and the fact that Mars is making its last sextile, the releasing sextile before the conjunction with Saturn, and Saturn is ruling Mars, and Mars is in exaltation for this new moon, and Pluto is on 29 degrees. There is like, it's just so clear, like, what's going on here. And as I mentioned, Venus is making a trine to Chiron, Venus is making a trine to North Node. So Venus now is in Sagittarius. She's gone through the dark night of the soul in Pluto, being ruled by Pluto. Of course, Venus also is getting ready for a conjunction with Pluto, which will take place in February. But Venus is now in Sagittarius. She's like, oh, I'm liberating myself now. I want to go into this new direction. I know what's wrong. Venus being the ruler of the South Node. Is Pluto still squaring the nodes? Yes, Pluto is still squaring the nodes for the last time. For this lunation, Pluto is for the last time squaring the nodes pointing to the South Node. But the South Node being ruled by Venus, Venus is now trying the North Node. Venus is saying, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to go into this new direction. We need to change our belief system because Jupiter is now direct. Now we know what we didn't know, like in September, because Jupiter just started in retrograde. Jupiter is in a closing phase to Uranus, like I said. They're going to have a conjunction on April 20th, after the eclipses, after Mars will have conjuncted Saturn. And the Chiron North Node conjunction is coming next month, on February 19th. So it's just crazy, all these things that are happening at the same time. And what is the main energy is the seeding of the change. Is the seeding of the rewiring of the entire system. That's what we're seeding. It's not creating the new system yet. We're seeding it because it's creating alongside of the old system falling apart. So this is what, to me, this new moon represents, because of all these aspects, because we know where we need to go. It might not be fully clear to us, like we don't know what it's going to look like in manifestation, but we know that there is this new way that needs to be birthed, because the old doesn't work, because Saturn, as the ruler of this new moon, is in Pisces, in a closing phase to Neptune. Neptune is ruling Saturn, and what is Neptune doing? Neptune is squaring Venus. Venus is coming into square with Neptune. So Venus, as the ruler of the South Node, is going to make a square to Neptune. Mercury is making a square to Neptune. These are two personal planets. They say in the way we identify the reality and what we valued and what we thought was the truth, because Venus is the ruler of Jupiter, is dissolving. Because Venus is the ruler of the South Node, and Pluto is pointing to the nodes. It's saying, where did it come from? It came from someone else. It didn't even come from you. We've been all attached to something that is not even yours. It's been projected onto us by the other, and now we know that the South Node in Libra and Mars being the ruler of the North Node, it's saying that, well, we need to redefine, we need to create something new system, new way of relating to one another that is based on something completely different. Sun is in Capricorn. What will it take? It will take to step into your power, your responsibility, take the charge. So this is what this new moon is saying. It's saying we have we have a new moon with Pluto on 29 degrees of Capricorn, and I believe the new moon in December will be Pluto on like 1 degree of Capricorn. So it's like the ending and will be beginning. And Pluto, this is the last time Pluto is making a square to the nodes during the lunation, and at the end of the year Pluto will be trining the North Node from the sign of Aquarius. So I'm like, everything will have to take place in the upcoming 12 months for that to be the energy, right? And that's why we have 4 lunations in Capricorn, because Capricorn is the definition of your reality, is the structure, is the baseline, is that which is making us feel safe and secure, because it's tangible, because it's there, because Capricorn and Cancer, they come as a pair. Cancer is the emotional safety and security, the inner nurturing. Capricorn is the one that creates the border, it creates the boundaries, it creates the protection, right? And Mars is in Capricorn. Mars gets up every day to become a Capricorn, to say like, yeah, I'm the king, I know what I'm doing, right? So so as I mentioned, this Mercury plays a big role, because Mercury is how we communicate, how we identify reality, and based on that we create connections, right? Because Mercury, Gemini trines Libra, and Libra trines Aquarius. So you want to find your own tribe. Aquarius, you want to belong. We all want to belong, because we all want to connect, because this entire reality is relational. It's about, I'm learning about myself through you, because you mirror it back to me, the good and the bad and all of it. But how much power do we give to the other to define us? Like, yeah, I learned from you and through you, but it doesn't mean I have to give you my power, right? This is just a feedback mechanism. It's just a mirror. How much we believe what we see depends on the lens you use, how clearly you use it and how you identify what you see. So this is what this Mercury is saying, squaring Neptune, is saying it could be just smokes and mirrors. You can't believe everything you see, because is that your truth? Is that actually what is in alignment with your values? Is that allowing you to expand and go in a direction that is making you feel excited and connected to something that is deep within you, something that actually navigates you through life that only you know? So yeah, and like I said, this Venus is trining the North Node, right? Venus is trining Chiron, Venus is trining the North Node, because Chiron is in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. It only just stationed direct after the full moon in Cancer, because Chiron stationed retrograde right after Pluto first time squared the nodes exactly. There were 3 squares in July. So this is all very sensitive. This is all very important to pay attention to, because Chiron is saying that, well, we are afraid to go in a new direction because it's the unknown. But as I many times said, if that which you wish you don't see in your reality, it's hiding in the unknown. It cannot be anywhere else. It's only in the unknown. So now with Venus trining the Chiron, she's like, high five, Chiron. Like, I know this is the way now, because I've gone through my dark night of the soul. I went through Pluto. Pluto said, well, I'm in Capricorn here chilling on 29 degrees. This is outdated now. We know that Saturn, my ruler, is now in Pisces. It's dissolving. It lost meaning. It lost meaning. It no longer holds a meaning. Why? Because Aquarius comes after Capricorn. Is the next step. Is the next step of our journey, which is talking about individuation, about strength, about Leo qualities, because Aquarius and Leo are in opposition. It's the same like with the tarot. We are in a year 8, year of strength. Leo, what is your purpose? Are you strong enough to go and follow your purpose? Because that's where the true freedom lies. Is the hope for the future. The star represents Aquarius. They are the two in opposition, because stars is 17, is the number 8. And this is what this is telling us. Pluto is just about to move into Aquarius. It will be already in Aquarius for the full moon in Leo. Full moon in Leo is the first full moon of 2024. Is the full moon in Leo. Last lunation, last new moon was new moon of 2023. New moon in Sagittarius, going in the new direction, seeding a new story, the story of expansion. And now full moon, first full moon on 2024 is a full moon in Leo. Sagittarius and Leo, they trine each other. Sagittarius is like this wheel of fortune, like the dial is changing. The direction is changing. That's why we have a Capricorn New Moon number 1 on the late degrees of Capricorn, with all this culmination saying that yes, it's changing. This is the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end, because we already concepting something new, because by the end of the year we'll have a new moon on Capricorn in the first 10 degrees, which is Capricorn Decan. By then Pluto will have had his last retrograde in Capricorn, come back into Aquarius, and will be in Aquarius until 2043. And then it will go into Pisces retrograde, back into Aquarius, and move back into Pisces for good, again for over 20 years, until I believe 2067. So it will be there for 23 years in Pisces. So I mean, this is crazy stuff, guys. This is not like, oh yeah, this is not happening. I mean, how is it going to be happening in your life is up to you. How this is going to be showing up in your life is up to you, because that's your Capricorn. You creating it, and you taking the responsibility. You decide how you want to experience this, and also how you want to use that energy. And that's what I tripped on my words in my last video when I said is the energy that creates, is the emotion that we put into something that creates the manifestation, which is why we have Cancer and Capricorn as a pair, because Cancer is emotional, is the emotion you feel. That's why when you watch all this stuff on the, television, whatever, and it creates negative emotion, it's more likely that this is going to manifest then. Or any emotion, happy emotion, the same thing, right? So that's why we have to be very discerning entering the year. We entered this year with moon in the sign of Virgo. This is the theme. Moon is the Cancer, is your inner world, is your emotions. Moon in Virgo, discernment. We need to discern how we using our emotions, because they manifest your reality. Cancer is in opposition with Capricorn. What you feel, you manifest. Capricorn, because Capricorn gives it a form. And prior to Capricorn is Sagittarius. What you believe, you manifest, because whatever you believe, it doesn't matter. You'll find the proof for it. Whether you think the earth is round or flat, you'll find the proof for both. Because whatever you believe, you manifest. You find the proof for it. So this is what I mean. How are you going to experience this year number 8? year 2024 is up to you, because you are manifesting it. You are manifesting the tangible experience in your life. But we have to remember that after Capricorn is Aquarius, and Aquarius is the next level, is the going beyond, is that which we don't know, because it's past our consciousness, is past Saturn. Saturn is the last visible planet. So this year is going to end with new moon in Capricorn, where Pluto is already in a sign of Aquarius and is making a trine to the south node and sextile to the north node in Aries on very early degrees. That will be the end of nodes being in Aries Libra, because they're going to shift into Pisces Virgo in January 2025. So this year is such an important year. I don't know how else to say it. And I mean, I know people think, oh God, she just keeps going on about the same thing. There is a Capricornian theme going on this year, as we can see with 4 lunations in the sign of Capricorn. And what does this represent? It's saying, well, now energy is being seeded. It's being seeded to show us that this is ending. No, well, when we're going to find out? Well, by July. Because we have the first full moon in Capricorn on 1 degree in June, right? June, 22nd, I said? Let me check that. June 22nd, yes. So the first full moon in Capricorn will be in June 22nd on 1 degree. And the second full moon in Capricorn will be on July 21st on the 29 degree of Capricorn. By then we will see. We will see what's going on. What's what we will see. Because by then Pluto will have been in Aquarius, it will be going back retrograde. It's not going to move back into Capricorn until September, so it will be still a retrograde in Aquarius. We will have had conjunction between Sun and Pluto, which is happening now, still in the sign of Capricorn, but then Mercury, Pluto, Mars, Venus. Yes, Mars is first. Mars is on the 14th, Venus on the 17th of February. New cycles will have begun. We also have the conjunction between Chiron and the North Node. New cycle will have begun by then. Then we have the eclipses in March and April. Then we'll have the conjunctions, Mars with everything. Venus will conjunct North Node. Mars will conjunct North Node. Of course, Sun will conjunct North Node. New cycles are beginning. Aries, new beginning, new season, new everything. So yeah, by the time we have a July, which is Cancer season, and that's like June 22nd, right? What is it? Yeah, June 22nd. Isn't that the solstice, right? The summer solstice, or winter if you are a southern hemisphere. That everything will be shifted. Everything will be turned on its head by then, because we will see what we can't see now. We just entered the year 2024, which, as I've been saying in my video, I've been feeling this energy since November. Like literally in December, I was completely out of it. Like we're still in 2023. I already feel 2024, and now we're in 2024. I feel we're already months in, and it's only 6 days. It's like crazy. Like the time literally is disappearing. Why? Because the timelines we were part of and the way that we were attached to the reality is dissolving. It doesn't work. It's gone. It's gone. Saturn is in Pisces, and now this new moon is telling us that prepare, because this is a new moon. This is the beginning, but it's not the beginning of the new yet, because the new is being created at the same time. But first we're going to see what is ending. We're going to see it by summer, because in the full moon in Capricorn, we're going to have the full illumination. And the first full moon in Capricorn is at the solstice. I mean, come on, solstice, it's going to be the beginning of a new season. So yeah, so what else is going on here? Like I said, all these aspects taking place. So yeah, I already talked about the Mercury square to Neptune number 3. We're letting go of the old way of identifying reality because it lost meaning, because we need to go beyond. We need to start a new chapter as a human collective. Sun trine into Uranus still retrograde. Uranus is still helping us to, see, reevaluate, like what is this new direction, with Uranus becoming the ruler of Pluto soon on the 20th. So Uranus is all about decentralization. It's all about well, you cannot follow anyone else anymore, because everybody is going to be taking care of their own interest and also trying to figure it out for themselves, because there is no blueprint, there is no manual to follow for this Pluto in Aquarius. There is no manual for Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, are you kidding? Like, this is going to be like, we have to figure it out as we go. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. This is the time when we'll have to take responsibility individually. Mars in Capricorn, we have to become the emperor, the leader of your own life. Now is the time, because there'll be no blueprint. Yeah, there will be people that you will resonate with, who will help and support you, but you need to make the decision. This is literally what this is. This Sun is going to trine Uranus. Sun is in Capricorn. You are the Capricorn. If you want to set yourself free, you need to trust yourself. You need to believe you can, because Uranus in Taurus is re-traumatizing us and bringing to the surface all these triggers and trauma to remind us where we feel disconnected from ourselves, where we feel we can't trust ourselves, because there is this wounding that is keeping us frozen in time. Feeling disempowered is the wounded inner child that's saying that, no, I can't do it. It's somebody else can do it. I can't do it. I don't have the whatever resources, strength, whatever it is. But now Uranus is going to challenge us on that, because Sun is trying Uranus, saying like, hey, like in this direction we head in, this Capricorn stuff, we need to trust ourselves. We need to see ourselves as the resource. Like, yes, you can do it. You can do it, because everything that you attract in, you have that within you to survive. You can do it, like, as I keep saying to all my clients, I say, well, whatever you've gone through in your life, you survived. You're here talking to me. So obviously you have the resources. You can do it. You're strong. You just need to believe it, because the Jupiter is in Taurus too. And there's going to be the conjunction, right? Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. The first one since they conjuncted Aries, 12 years ago, right? So this conjunction is going to tell us the story of you feeling that, oh no, I can't do it. I don't trust myself. Oh, poor me. Or, just like this humbleness, this it's good to be humble, don't get me wrong. But, then it's humble and humble. Like, let's not go into extreme here thinking, oh, no, you do it. I can't do it. You do it better. No, there is no better. There is we'll have to stand up for ourselves, have to become the Capricorn. So yeah, so this Sun, and like I said, there's gonna be this is all preparation for the conjunctions, all the conjunctions that are going to be taking place in the first half of the year. So the Sun-Uranus conjunction is going to be taking place on the 13th of May, which once again is after the eclipses. This is actually, I think, around the time of the new moon in Taurus, because we end in April with the full moon in Scorpio. So yeah. What else is here? Yeah, Sun. Oh yeah, Sun is squaring the nodes. Okay, let's talk about this. Sun is squaring the nodes, because as I just mentioned, we have Pluto. This is the last lunation. Pluto is squaring the nodes, pointing to the south node, saying, this is the skip step. This is the Pluto is the skip step, which is saying we going forward in our evolution. What is tripping us up is the south node in Libra. We externalize too much power. We believe the conditioning. Well, we didn't know any better, like everybody did it, but just because everybody did doesn't make it right. And now we're becoming more and more aware under the pressure, under Pluto squaring the nodes, the pressure. Square is the pressure that requires the change. Pointing to the south node, well, you cannot externalize your power no more, because you need to decide what is the truth for you, because truth is mutable, right? As we know. So now Sun, new moon in Capricorn, squaring the nodes with Pluto for the last time. This is crazy stuff, because Pluto is in a new phase conjunction to this Capricorn, saying we need to take a new approach. We got to be brave. The rule of the south node, of the resolution node, is trining north node. North node ruled by Mars. Where is Mars? Mars is in Capricorn. Where is Saturn? Saturn is Pisces. Can you see the paradox here? I hope I'm explaining it properly so people can understand what I mean. Mars is always new beginning. Aries is always new beginning. Pisces is the ending. Mars is the rule of the north node, evolutionary potential, where we head in. Venus is the rule of the south node. South node is that which we leave in behind. It doesn't mean it ceased to exist, but we know that now we need to go to the next level. We need the next layer of our evolution. And Venus is trining the north node. And Chiron, the Chiron that is saying we are afraid because it's unknown. because we were being conditioned to believe, oh, let us stick with the evil, let us stay with what let's just keep doing what we know, because this is the familiar. But the familiar will always make us feel like a child, because it's the cancer. We feel like we need someone else to take care of us, someone else to nurture us, whoever it is, authority, external authority. But one day it will have to be you, because otherwise we'll always be in the role of the child, the role of the disempowerment. So yeah, the new moon in Capricorn is saying it's time, because Pluto is in a new phase conjunction, and they all three of them square in the South Node. And Venus, the ruler of the South Node, is in Sagittarius, saying, ruling Jupiter now direct. Jupiter is in Taurus, ruled by Venus. So, and like I said, Venus making a trine to Chiron and the North Node. It's saying that no, this is not the way to go anymore. She had the dark night of the soul, and she made the last sextile to Pluto, right? From Scorpio. They're gonna have a conjunction in February. She said, this is ending. This is ending. We need to liberate ourselves from this. This doesn't hold a meaning anymore. It's the end. It's the end to live life based on this principle, based on this orientation, this way of identifying reality and being attached to this belief that is the better the devil, I don't think so. Like, I mean, let's see what this year holds, but it's gonna get to the point where we're gonna go for the unknown. We're gonna go, oh, the unknown is better than the devil that because, like, this is the thing, In order for us to fully understand the Pluto transit through Capricorn, so what Pluto completely was transmuting and dissolving, Pluto is the death. Pluto, like Scorpio, everybody's so afraid of 8th house, that's where things come to die, yeah? But they don't come to die because nothing can ever truly die. They come to transmute, they come to take on a different form. So Pluto going through the sign of Capricorn, it showed us throughout these 15 years, since 2008, it showed us what is rotten now, what doesn't hold the structure anymore, because it became outdated, because Saturn over the time went through all sorts of signs, but they had a conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn, and then Saturn went into Aquarius, and realized that, oh my god, we need to like upgrade this, we need to decentralize, this is not right, and then now Saturn is in Pisces and Pluto is on 29 degrees, and there is a new moon in Capricorn squaring the nodes. And it's saying that, well, this year we're going to see Pluto is just going to show us. It's going to show us all that it dug out, It's going to show us all the dirt that it found under the surface. It's going to show us, like, look, this is why it's outdated. It's going to bring it all to the surface this year, all of it. Because it's the end. It's the end of Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is moving to Aquarius. It's saying, well, I'm already on the next thing. We don't know what that means, because it's the beginning of Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius. Like, we will not know until at least 10 years from now. It's going to be there for 20 years. In 20 years, we will know. But now we don't know. It's like, like when you doing any kind of work and then you do the last words, like that. I don't know how to say it in English, but like you making your essay and then you do the summary at the end. Like, okay, so this is the meat. This is the caveat of this work. That's that. That's that. The caveat of Pluto in Capricorn is coming up. It's coming up this year. It's coming up probably between now and full moon in Capricorn for sure. Because then we're going to have change. Because we still have a new moon in Aries this spring and next spring. However, as I mentioned previously, there is no full moon lunar eclipse in Aries. There is only solar eclipse in Aries, but there is no lunar eclipse in Aries. So we don't know where this is going. We don't know. We're not meant to know. It's not the time, because it hasn't manifested yet. Because this is a completely new cycle for us as a human collective and each of us individually. So we don't know what it's going to look like. Because there was all this in conjunction to the South Node. Like, we don't know, because until we shift the pattern, until we shift the way we are in this human reality, like where we've been conditioned for so long, for thousands of years, we were being conditioned to externalize our power, whether it was to give it to leaders or gurus or religion or whatever. Always there was someone else that was apparently more important and smarter than you. So we just did what we were told. We didn't question it. We didn't know any better, right? But that is now changing. But it's not like something that comes to us naturally, because there are thousands of years of this, thousands of incarnations. All our ancestor lines and collective program, we all impacted by this. So it's not easy to just now go, oh yeah, I'm gonna trust myself, I'm not gonna listen to nobody. There is the process that needs to take place. So that's why we don't see, we don't know. There is no full moon lunar eclipse in Aries this time around, because we don't know what the full moon's gonna look like, because it's a complete shift, it's a complete paradigm shift. Like we need to literally become someone completely different and start relating to one another in a very different way, in a way to see like namaste, yeah, like we equal. Like even though we were being programmed and conditioned to see that there is a hierarchy in this society, but is it really, or is it just a story, or is it just the way we identify it? Why would someone else be more valuable or smarter or whatever than someone else, other? Like we all unique, we all have different gifts to offer. Like I don't know everything, I don't know nothing from mathematics. You can make me feel stupid in 1 second when you start talking to me about mathematics. Because we not all know. We could all download these things, but that is not maybe your purpose in this life. We all have a different purpose. That's the sun. That's the sun. The sun is in Capricorn, saying you came here to redefine it. You came here to decide what is it for you. What do you want it to be? Because now you're taking your power back. Pluto is squaring the nodes, pointing to the south node. New moon in Capricorn, pointing to the south node. We need to take the power back from the external, whatever it is. Whatever it is, whether it's the way they try to make us think, feel, believe, what do we value? It's all of it. All of it. The whole thing, literally the whole thing is being redefined. So that's why this new moon, the energy of this new is, in my interpretation, not saying this is the universal truth. I'm saying this is how I'm tapping into the energy. This is it. This is it. This is the seeding of the beginning and of the end. It's paradoxical. It's saying there is a new beginning coming, and it's coming. By the end of this year, we will have much more clarity. We will not have the final outcome, but we will understand. Because this end of 2024, I'm sure we will be in a very different place than we started this year. Whatever that will look like, whatever that will be for anyone, for all of us. But that is guaranteed. That is guaranteed, because the new moon in Capricorn, Pluto will be already back in Aquarius to watch the show. Trine in the south node. High five, south node. We've done it. Whatever is that needs to be done. Pluto will be, we on our way. We going for it, And also Jupiter will be in Gemini. Gemini is the choice. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is in a sign of multiplicity. This is multiple choice you can choose from. Like anything you want, you have to decide. And that again comes back to what you believe. Do you trust yourself? All this kind of everything is connected. guys, there is nothing in astrology that is in separation. This is just what we were conditioned to believe, that we are separate. That, oh yeah, what I do doesn't impact anyone. Don't worry about it. I'm just living here in my cocoon. No. Everything impacts everything else, and so the planets are very clearly showing us. It's very it's beautiful, this dance in the sky, how it's showing us so clearly how everything is impacting everything. So that's why by the end of the year, by the second new moon in Capricorn, number 2 of 2024, just before we shut the door on number 8 year on the 30th of December, right on the 30th of December, just before the last day of the year, we're going to have a completely different picture of what this all meant. But we're not meant to know now, because the things haven't happened yet. We have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. The story is going to end. It's going to show us something. But, it's not funny, It's not funny. I had no idea. I probably have not much to laugh about by the end of the year either. But it's just the inner standing. And yeah, like I said, the sun is squaring the nodes, and the conjunction between sun and north node will be on a 4-4. What can I say? We're having a new moon in Capricorn on 111, right? These master number frequencies. And is what did I say? Wasn't it coming up to number 1? Yeah, 4-4 number 8. Master number frequency 44. 2 comes from 1 and 1. which is an 11. Altogether comes to number 10, which is the ending and new beginning. 10 is the ultimate end. It's like the close, the cycle is closing. And then we have a sun, the prana, sun in Aries, the new beginning, conjuncting North Node on a 4-4 portal. 4-4, which is number 8. Which year is this? Number 8. I mean, on a 4-4, which is 4 days before the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. You can't make this up, guys. And the new moon in Aries solar eclipse will be on 19 degrees. It will be squaring. The place where we have this new moon in Capricorn. So this is what I mean. This year is something else. It's something else. Like, and this is not to make anybody to be afraid, because that's not the point. This is just to be aware, because as I keep saying in my practical application of astrology, once we are aware, we can change it. Like we need to first accept it. Okay, this is what it is. This is what I'm experiencing, not go into denial or escapism, with this square to Neptune, like, oh my God, how can I check out? How can I escape? It's not happening. Oh my God, it's not happening. But if we actually go like, okay, well, this is the experience I'm having, I can feel it. It's happening, like whether this life is an illusion or a matrix or whatever you call it, it doesn't matter, because right now you're in this physical costume, and it's real. It's happening, right? It's really happening. And then, okay, so something is happening. I can see it, I can feel it, because we all connected. Because we all part of human collective, so everybody is feeling it, everybody knows. We don't know what is it, but we feel it. And then, and then we have the awareness. We accept it's happening. Then we have an awareness. Okay, what is it that's happening? And now, okay, now I see, now I know, now I feel. Now what am I going to do about it? So this is where the choice comes in. But until we accept this happening and we are aware of what's happening, we are in denial, because how can we change something which you don't even know it's there, right? So that's why with this Uranus in Taurus and Jupiter in Taurus and the upcoming conjunction, Uranus is like literally, I was just trying to explain this to a client today. It's like when you're looking in the mirror and you see yourself, and then the mirror just cracks in front of you. And then suddenly there are these million pieces of you. So it's like that. You have a picture of who you are. You have a picture of this reality, which we are so fixated on. This story we are so attached to, this Jupiter in Taurus, like so fixated, like, oh my God, like can't move. I'm Taurus sun, so I understand, like, no, stubborn, not moving, But then Uranus comes in. Uranus, I had my awakening when Uranus conjuncted my sun. So since then, my life has been a roller coaster. But anyway, that's a side note. So then Uranus comes in and it fractures all that. It breaks it into million pieces. And now suddenly we don't know what it is. We don't know who we are. Where are all these pieces missing? Well, but that wasn't who you were to start with. It was just a projection. Because the true essence of who you are, you cannot see. It's the spirit. You can't see it. You can feel it. You can feel it through your heart, and you can feel it through your intuition. It talks to you all the time. It talks to you through your body. But that thing which you see in the mirror is just an aspect of it. It's not the totality. It's not the totality. So that's why Mercury square into Neptune is saying, like, well, it could be all just a lie. Mercury is in Sagittarius, square in Neptune, like what out of this actually is the truth and what holds the meaning for you? Because as we know, truth is mutable. Everybody's got their own version of it, and it doesn't make anybody wrong or right. It's just about what is your truth. So Mercury now, making the third square to Neptune after its retrograde, it's saying, okay, so what did we find out over the holidays? And ending the 2023 and having all these walking down the memory lane and reflections on 2023 as most people do. What did we learn? What do we know? What is the direction we want to take this with? And are we ready to take the responsibility and accept that it's up to you? Because that's what Capricorn represents, emotional maturation. It is the Emperor, the Mars in Capricorn. And that's where Mars is for this lunation, sextile in Saturn. Saturn ruling Pluto, 29 degrees. I mean, we can just keep going in circles, guys. I mean, it just keeps ping-ponging from one thing to another, but the bottom line is still the same. There is a massive change coming in this year number 8, and this is the beginning of it. We can see the universe was so kind that it gave us a 1 week of breather. Hardly anything was going on, hardly anything. You know, it was just, okay, let them chill. Because the show is just about to start. And we won't see all of it yet, but by summer, by the full moon in Capricorn, I'm sure we'll have much more understanding of what's going on here. But, as I said, Sun is trining Uranus, Venus is trining North Node and Chiron, Mars is sextiling Saturn. There are a lot of supportive aspects, I mean, we have no opposition. Well, there is Mercury in opposition with Vesta, but there is what is it? Juno is in opposition with Neptune. Yeah, it's just the asteroids. Uranus, Pallas. Yeah, so we have asteroids opposing outer planets and some personal planets. But I mean, we have squares. There is an adjustment that has to take place, but there are a lot of trines. There are a lot of positive aspects going on. What is this telling us? We are ready for this. We are ready for this. You might not believe you are because Jupiter is in Taurus. You might be still fixated on the idea of like, no, I can't do it. Or let's just stay, attached to the past. Let's stay attached to this old story, yeah? But that's not going to cut it anymore. So this year is the year of a big change. And it's the year of strength, which means, Leo, you need to trust yourself. You need to be true to yourself. You need to listen to your heart because that's going to guide you. Your heart is never going to, it's not going to cheat you because it's your heart. It's the connection. It's the connection to the higher realms, yeah, through the inner child. So anyway, guys, I hope that there was 55 on my phone when I just said that. So that's 2 10s. That's a new beginning times 2. So I'm going to leave it at this. I do hope that this was helpful to someone. If you're still watching, 56 minutes in. But yeah, this is my interpretation of the first new moon of 2024, new moon in Capricorn, which is no kidding. In Capricorn, with Mars sextile in Capricorn, Saturn in Pisces. So anyway, guys, this is what is the flavor of this year. We can see it. We can see that this is the flavor. We don't know where it's going. We don't know like the final outcome, but yeah, the strength. You need to feel strong in yourself, trust yourself, believe in yourself, because that's the only thing. That's the only way forward. Without that, it's gonna be very challenging. Because things are going to get confusing, more dirt is going to come out, because Pluto is going to dish it all out, literally just like, the summary of it. Like here it is, all of it. And yeah, you need to believe in yourself. You need to be strong. Strength, you need to be strong. Whatever it takes for you, you need to decide. You need to take responsibility and create the reality that serves you, so you can be of a service to another, through the sense of self-empowerment and authenticity. And that's what it is about. That's what Capricorn New Moon is saying. The authority is you. You have to be the authority of your life, because otherwise you'll never feel empowered, because Saturn is in Pisces. That story lost meaning. So I wish you all a beautiful new moon in Capricorn. Seed good intentions and have a, prosperous 2024, because this is the year of manifestation. If you trust and believe in yourself, you can manifest anything you want, because you can, because you are the Capricorn, you are the magician. Okay, much love, guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye, everyone.